Hi guys, welcome back to Celebuzz's 100 Days of Hunger Games. I have a very special guest with me here today.
My name is Savanna, and I am one of the co-hosts / co-producers of Hunger Games Fireside Chat. We are a live weekly Hunger Games podcast, and you can listen live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And our website is hgfiresidechat.com, and that has everything that you could possibly want to know about us and about the show.
And we're at Celebuzz is a big fan of the show, and Savannah, we are going to be discussing one of the scenes that I'm dying to see, but you go for it. Introduce us.
Okay, well, I cannot wait for this scene, and I think it's a very underrated moment in the first book. Mm-hmm. It is a scene in which Thresh spares Katniss's life after he has killed Clove, who was preparing to kill Katniss when Thresh showed up. And I think that this is such a powerful scene. Up until this point, I feel like the reader's view of the other tributes is very much black and white.
Absolutely.
You have the good guys, Katniss, Peeta, Rue, and the bad guys, the careers, and pretty much everyone else. And this moment, for me at least, really sort of emphasized the fact that the other tributes aren't really the enemy. They're just kids who are just as much victims of the Society of Panem as Katniss and Peeta are.
Exactly, they're kids. We see Thresh's humanity. Because for me, when I read the book the first time, I almost had to flip back and realize, oh, Thresh was Rue's counterpart in District 11. I'm wondering if in the movie, are we going to get to know Thresh as a character more leading up to this? Are they going to show his training scenes? What do you think?
I don't know. It's so difficult to say. I feel like we might learn a little bit more about him than we do in the books, just because I think it's a lot more difficult to sort of randomly introduce a character in a movie. But I expect that he will probably still remain a little bit mysterious, just because I think that is one of the things that makes him so interesting. We don't really know anything about him, but he sort of pops up at the right place at the right time and proves to be, as you said, a human. He's very much human. And he makes a decision that is crucial to the entire series.
Absolutely. And I mean, just being selfish, I would love some backstory on his and Rue's relationship, whether they knew each other before coming into the games, because it's clear that he really cared about her because he had the opportunity to kill Katniss and he doesn't.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm just selfish. I want them to show a little more of that.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, I would love to see some of that. I think District 11 is one of the most interesting districts in Panem, and we don't learn nearly enough about it in the series. So I would love to, possibly get more of a glimpse into what their society is like. But who knows what we'll end up seeing.
Thresh and Cato have this battle for days that allows Katniss and Peeta to be in the cave. So again, I'm curious if they're going to show some of that.
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the biggest mysteries of the first book. How does Thresh die? What exactly happens between him and Cato? It's definitely implied that there's some sort of epic showdown between the two of them, but we have no way of knowing. And I do hope that we at least maybe see a hint of what happens in the movie.
Epic showdown. I loved how you put that. Because when they, show that Thresh was the one who ultimately died in that battle, I'm curious what sort of emotion we'll see on Katniss's face. Because in the book, it's all in her head, and we understand that she's sad, but again, she has to keep, her guard up for the cameras that are obviously following them, and she still has to look tough. So I wonder how that's going to be played out on the big screen.
Yeah, I think that will be very interesting to see. I think that Jennifer Lawrence is going to have to do a lot of nonverbal acting.
Yes.
Luckily, I personally think that she's very adept at that. She's very gifted at sort of using her face to express a wide range of emotions. So I think that she'll be able to portray that emotion, even though we don't get that internal monologue.
Right. What do you think do you know much about the actor who's going to be playing Thresh?
Yeah, I do know. I feel like I know a lot about him just because he's so active on Twitter.
Yes.
I really think that he's going to be amazing as Thresh, and the actor, of course, is Dio Okani. I was fortunate enough to see a short film that he was in, Lions Among Men, and that was the first thing that I had ever actually seen him act in, and he was absolutely incredible. And the role that he plays in Lions Among Men is similar to Thresh in a lot of ways. They're both parts that don't require a lot of speaking, but that require a certain presence, a strong presence, and he was just really fantastic in that short. So that sort of gave me a lot of confidence.
Was it a physical role?
It was very physical, not in the same ways that Thresh is, but there was a certain level of physicality involved for sure.
Right, good. Well, I know that once I saw who was cast, he really was exactly what I was picturing, and I love when that happens.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure, Savanna.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Tell everyone once again where our viewers and readers can find you.
Well, you can find us at www.hgfiresidechat.com, and we are live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And everyone come back to Celebuzz tomorrow for more of our 100 Days of Hunger Games celebration.